pronounced at the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagavan. Dear brothers and sisters, we started the study of Kathopanishad last Sunday. We'll continue this morning also. For those who were not present last time, I just mentioned one or two points so that this morning's talk would naturally link with the earlier. What we first observed was that Kathopanishad is the conversation between Nachiketa, a boy, and god of death, Yama. It is a conversation between them. The second point is, god of death or Yama, Y-A-M-A, wanted this boy Nachiketa to ask for anything of his choice. Why? Because this boy Nachiketa went on pestering, went on bothering this Yama to teach him the knowledge of the self, Brahma Vidya. To divert his attention, Yama said, "Oh boy, don't ask for the knowledge of the self. I'll make you a king, come on." The boy says, "Certainly not. I want the knowledge of the self only." Then Yama tempts him further. "Oh boy, I'll make you very, very famous all over the universe." This Nachiketa said, "Nothing doing. I want the knowledge of the self." Then he said, "Oh boy, I'll make you the richest man in this world." He said, "I'm sorry. I want the knowledge of the self." Therefore, Yama was forced to teach him the knowledge of the self. That is the second point I would like to draw your attention, dealt with last week itself. And then, there are four objectives in life: dharma, righteousness or action; second, artha, the money or wealth; third, kama or desire or covetousness; the fourth, moksha or liberation. These are the four objectives of life, called purushartha. Purusha meaning everyone, artha, the one, that which is sought after. So we seek for dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Of these four, the first one is dharma. We have to take the meaning for this word dharma in relation to the context as action. Dharma. This is my dharma. To teach is my dharma. As a teacher, I must teach. To treat a patient is the dharma of a doctor. Dharma meaning discharging one's own duty. So we do our duties, what for? Artha, the money. We do our duties, we indulge in actions. Why and how? Prompted by kama or desire. Therefore, my friends, all our actions are desire oriented or money centered. Therefore, Kathopanishad says, stop that dharma action, stop that. That action prompted by desire, that action which is money centered, give it up, stop it. Then what is left now? The fourth objective, moksha, or liberation. Moksha or liberation or heaven or paradise or nirvana, whatever you may call it, is the fourth object you left. That's what we thought of it last time. Now, my friends, here God brings a kind of distinction between two aspects. Yama is the name of God, for information. Why? The one who has given life can also withdraw life. No one can take away our life just like that. In newspapers, we read recently a boy, a child, survived for 10 to 15 days. 80 feet deep in the well. 80 feet deep in the well, in the bore well. The boy survived for 15 days. Everybody expected that they have to collect the dead body. The army people, all people got involved to rescue the child. At one time they were hopeless, but they could recover the boy alive. What does it mean? Life is divine. Life is God. You cannot give life and you cannot take away life as you wish to. Therefore, here there are two. What I want to tell you is Yama is the name of God here. Because the one who has got the capacity to withdraw life. For our own good again. Withdrawal of life is a polished way, a refined style to say death. As death is frightening to some people, as death is inauspicious to some people, I have chosen to put it withdrawal of life. Withdrawal of life is also for our good. Let us be very clear about it. With the non-functioning eyes that are almost blind, with the non-functioning ears which are almost deaf, with the non-functioning mind which is senile, having lost its memory, with the legs suffering from arthritis, with the tongue that cannot taste because of blood pressure and sugar problems, what for is that useless body? Better the life be withdrawn as a reward, as a boon. Yes. Now, my friends, there are two words. One is Shreyas, S-R-E-Y-A-S, Shreyas. The other word, Preyas, P-R-E-Y-A-S. Shreyas, Preyas are the two words used in Bhagavad Gita, used in Upanishads, particularly with reference to Kathopanishad. Shreyas and Preyas. Let's know what is Preyas, what is Shreyas. The surest sign is that which attracts us is the Preyas. Priya, so dear to us, so nice, so alluring, so attractive, so tempting. Preyas. Shreyas will not tempt us, will not attract us so immediately as prayers. The artificial gold shines more than the real gold. You know that. Some of the fruits which are hybrid varieties, they are this size without any taste. So, prayers is like that. which is so attractive, which is so alluring and tempting. While Shreyas is not so attractive initially. Will not draw your attention immediately. No. That's the first difference. The second, prayers gives you happiness or joy which is momentary or temporary. Simple example. One drinks a cup of coffee or a bottle of whiskey. It is prayers. He is very happy because that gives him kick for a couple of hours. Thereafter gone. He is so weak because of the effect of alcohol. So, Shreyas is not like that. It gives you bliss abiding. It gives eternal joy. It gives permanent happiness. This is the second difference. While prayers is momentary, Shreyas is eternal. That is the second thing. Therefore, Nachiketa, the boy, asked this question to learn this knowledge of the self because it is Shreyas. You would have asked for property or at least 10 or 15 flats in Puttaparthi. He did not ask for that. Because asking for flats and plots, that is only prayers. But he asked for the knowledge of self, which is Shreyas, eternal. Now I think we can make a clear distinction. Here it is clearly said, Anyatra dharma, anyatra dharma, anyatra, krita, anyatra bhutadascha, bhutadbhavascha, yatvam pasyasi, tadvada. That's what Upanishad says. All other things are mundane. All other things are worldly, ephemeral, branded under prayers. But this being eternal, permanent, immortal, nectar wine is Shreyas. So he asked for that Shreyas. That's what Kathopanishad said. That's what Nachiketa asked for. Now what does Baba say? Prayers, that which is so dear, so endearing, so tempting. What does Baba say about it? Dhanadhanya mukalgi dharma gunam guna santati ledane chintayundu. Dhanadhanya mukalgi dharma gunam guna santati ledane chintayundu. A fellow is so rich, with money in all possible branches of all kinds of banks. Money everywhere, deposits all over. So much of money. But he has got a feeling of vacuum. He suffers from emptiness with all the money. That emptiness because he has no children. Money is there, no children. Something like sweets are there, he cannot eat because of diabetes. Hot stuff that most of the andhras relish, spicy stuff, ready to eat, but blood pressure won't allow him to eat. Something like that. He has so much of property, but he has no children. Vidyadhikariyai vidavi gutsunna Udyogamuleka vetalanandu Udyogamuleka vetalanandu. Today what is happening? We have people with so many qualifications. MA, BEd, MEd, yes, MTech, PhD. Qualifications are there. But a suitable job is not there. Which is suitable, proportionate, to your talent, to your caliber, to your taste, to your choice, to your standard that you deserve. So you don't have jobs. You have a very high qualification. Kuduvanga kudule kalladu sunnati nirupeda kendaro bidalunduru. The fellow has no food to eat, poverty stricken, totally poor. He has number of children there. Fellow who is rich has no children. The fellow who has no food to eat, the house is full of children. What is to be done? Therefore, we have to understand there is nothing like total happiness. There is nothing like absolute happiness. No, no, no. It carries with it a shadow of misery. It carries with it a shadow of incompleteness. It carries with it the darkness of misery. There is nothing like that which is totally happy. That is the message of Bhagavan here in this poem. Sakala karyamulila satatam busalukuta Anivijanu nechi adhikudaguta Bhumi pandinchuda bhujakramenuta. Wow, what a style. That is Baba's style. Sakala karyamulila satatam busalukuta. We do that and this all the 24 hours, busy. I pick up the phone and say, how are you? I'm sorry, would you call me later? Hello sir, I have got a message to convey. Oh, thank you, I'll get back to you. We are not prepared to reply. We are not prepared to respond. Because we are so busy. Go and watch anybody. The moment they get up, like a machine, running horse. What for? Annivijanunechi adhikudaguta. One is excellent, topmost in all fields of knowledge, with a number of degrees. Bhumi pandinchuda bhujakrameluta. One is a farmer, agriculturist. He cultivates. And one is a king. Koluvunuta potakuti korake. Koluvunuta potakuti korake. We may take up a job under somebody. Everyone will have a boss with whom we will never agree. Everyone will have a boss who is always a dictator, who thinks he knows everything, though subordinates know that he knows nothing. But still we work under somebody or other. Therefore, Bhagavan clearly tells all our actions, all our knowledge, excellence, be that as a farmer or a king, whatever may be, or a job you may do, what for? To earn your livelihood. To earn your livelihood. To eke out your living. That's all. Therefore, Swami, what shall I do now? Shall I stop going to my office now? Ghanamuga bhuvilona kadagandru padanela Puti koraku paatu padaganela. With all the stress, with all the strain, with all the tension, why do you bother yourself? Why do you struggle just for a morsel of food? And if you think the whole life is for food, if the whole life is for a living, Swami's question straight away. Pakshi kitakamulu bratuku chundutalede. Pakshi kitakamulu bratuku chundutalede. Avanilo yetti yatmambuleka. Avanilo yeti yatnambuleka. Without any effort, without any degree, without any recommendation, without any regional, linguistic favoritism, consideration, without any degree, qualification. Don't you find birds, bees, ants living better than all of us? All animals, they lead a certainly better life. No animal will say, that animal is living better than me. No elephant will say, the other elephant is better than me. No comparison among animals. No competition among animals. They have no separate elephant bank or dog bank. They have no bank accounts, nothing. No worry for the future. Therefore, Bhagavan wants to convey us this important message, that all our excellence in different walks of life should not be merely for earning, should not be merely for livelihood. No, it should be something. Now Bhagavan speaks of Shreyas. He said about prayers, all that is useless till now. Now he speaks of Shreyas, what is good in the long run. What is it that's good, which gives you bliss eternal? Shreyas, what does he say? Talli kanna migula daivame ekuva Sannihitudu tandri kanna chala Sannihitudu tandri kanna chala Talli kanna migula daivame ekuva. God is certainly more than your mother. That is Shreyas. It's good for you to believe in that. Sannihitudu tandri kanna chala. God is more intimate than your own father. Atti atmavadala apunu papambu unnamata telupuchunnamata. If you forget the divinity, which is more intimate than your own father, if you forget that God, who is nearer, closer to you all the time, more than your own mother, there cannot be greater sin than that. It is worst of the sins to forget God, who is more than our own parents. That is Shreyas. That is good for you. Visvachintana cheyu vijnana rahitudu. Visvachintana cheyu vijnana rahitudu. A fool thinks of this world only. How to prosper, how to bypass him, how to get promotion, how to write petitions against this fellow, how to unpopularize him, how to defame him, mudslinging, character assassination, manipulation. What's on this? No. So a worldly man, a foolish man, thinks of worldly prospects in this direction, in this line. Gokadu Vishwamunu Vishnu Chintana Cheyu Vibhudavarundu. The worldly man thinks of the world, thinks of the creation, but the wise man thinks of the Creator, thinks of God, because he knows that the whole thing that he sees is his manifestation. The whole thing where he moves about, where he works, is his will. Therefore, he thinks of the Creator, a wise man. Vakadu Vishwamunandu, Vakadu Vishnu Nipundu. The man who thinks of the world becomes worldly, more worldly. More worldly, more medicines, more period of hospitalization, more unpopular more ignorant, more selfish. You can add any number of nonsensical things under this more heading. Okadu Viswamunandu, Okadu Vishnu Pundu. The one who thinks of God, he becomes godly, he becomes spiritual, he is a divine. So think of God so that we be godly. If you think of the world, you are worldly. When you are godly, you will be more friendly, you will be more loving. Friendliness, loveliness are your qualities. This is the fact that Baba conveys to you. See, lovely things. I don't know to what extent I am trying to reach you while translating these poems, but I am trying my level best to communicate at least its essence. Only after all, I have only 20 years of experience in this field of translation. If you cannot grow during this long period of experience, you will never grow for a lifetime. So I think I am catering to your needs to the extent possible. Okay. Janedu pottanimpu konna chikulananduchu koti vijalan punika miranechi. After all, the stomach is so small. Of course, how big it is depends upon his personality and the size. His eating coefficient, EQ, should decide. So, after all, the stomach is a part of our body. The whole body is not stomach, okay? A part. To fill that little part when compared to the whole, we acquire all kinds of skills and talents and expect to be totally happy. Expect to be totally happy. Are we? No. Paripurna Sukhambu Pondaleka. We are not able to have the total joy. Alright, I had a very good food in the lunch. Fine. After 3 hours, finish. I feel something more. After tiffin, sweets and hots and coffee, after 3 hours, dinner. It's an unending process. You cannot say 3 days back, you had sumptuous lunch, Mr. Anil Kumar. I think you don't need to eat today. Do you see that? So, you cannot have total satisfaction or complete gratification or total happiness out of this living. This living. However much we enjoy, we want to have more. Yesterday you slept till 6:30. Today you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. The boy will say, yesterday I got up at 6:30. Today permit me to get up at 7 o'clock at least. We want to sleep more. We want to eat more. We want to enjoy more. We never say no more. We always say once more. With the result, what happens? We lose it, the very taste of life. The life becomes mechanical. It's not creative. It's not vibrant. It's not radiant. It's not fresh. It is repetition after all. Supposing I speak same thing every Sunday. Even if I distribute currency notes, nobody will be here. Because people here are not for money. Supposing I say, I am going to repeat same thing next Sunday and I will pay you. They will say, please keep the money to yourself. Please don't waste our time. When the life becomes a repetition, it is boredom. When life becomes a routine, it is ugly. The life should be fresh. The life should be dynamic. The life should be something like a blossoming morning rose. Life should be like a rainbow. It's not a repetition, like same as computer scene showing, same yesterday material, same as and same. It's not that. Something new, something fresh. Therefore, ई मानव जाति दुःखमूल मृगगणिटिकी శ్రీపరత్పరం జనముచేయు భక్తులకు దారిని చూపకయున్నె మానవా. Why should man suffer like that? Why should man be grief-stricken? Why should man's life be so miserable, without a trace of beauty, without an iota of freshness? Why should life be so mechanical? It is only in the divine. It is only in meditation. It is only in identification with the divine, transcending time and space, you find freshness. It's only in the thought of the divine you will have that forgetfulness. Wine gives you forgetfulness, but the divine forgetfulness is little more. Wine forgetfulness makes you weak. Divine forgetfulness makes you strong. Wine forgetfulness will make you fall sick. Divine forgetfulness will make you strong, stronger and stronger. Alert, sharp. Therefore, my friends, Bhagavan always tells us, think of the shreyas, which is good for you in the long run, and not praise, which is a short time goal. This what Kathopanishad says. That's why Nachiketas wanted shreyas and not praise. Now, we come to the next point of Kathopanishad. I am sure that all of you are quite alert and attentive. What does Kathopanishad say that? Very interesting. It says, from I to we to he. Understood? 3 steps. I, we, he. What do you mean? Something wrong with me? No. All that is in you is not anything separate. All that is in me is not anything different. We are basically made up of same stuff. No, no, sir, my blood is a royal blood. You are clean, which is foolish. Blood is blood. There is beggarly blood, royal blood, whatever. It is same. So therefore, we are made up of the same stuff. It is clearly said that our body is made up of 5 elements. The earth, the fire, water, the space, the sky. The 5 elements made our body, you know that? This body is the gift of nature. You have not put in the test tube some soil, some earth, some air, some water, heat it, here is Anil Kumar. It's not even black magic to do so. Impossible. Therefore, my friends, you and I are the gifts of nature. You and I represent conglomeration, combination, union of the 5 elements. As we take leave, we go back to these 5 elements. That's all. You are the product of the nature and you go back to the nature, that's all. Where is the question of ownership here? Where is the question of ownership here? Some people say, this is my place, this is my place. Your body is not your body. How do you say this is my place? Who can help such fools? Unless one knows one is a fool, he can never improve. If a fool thinks that he is a wise man, he has to try next life. The one who knows not that he knows not is a fool, shun him. Therefore, my friends, it is clearly said, we are all made up of the same stuff, same material. And then the indweller God in me is same God in you. No. I have in me super God. You have in you the normal God. The other man has got mega God. The other person has minor God. That lady has Hindu God. This lady has Christian God. Nonsense. Same God. How do you say that? Bring 10 pots. Fill them with water. Observe sun or moon in these pots. Only one moon. There are 10 pots. You will find 10 moons. You cannot say, this is my pot. So my moon is here only. I carry it home. You may claim to be your moon, but same moon is present in all parts, my dear friends. Therefore, God has been experienced according to Kathopanishad, starting with I-ness, Pratyagatma. Pratyagatma, meaning the individual soul, meaning individual consciousness, Pratyagatma, the individual I, the temporal I, the individual self, the individual consciousness is Pratyagatma. If you understand the self at the individual level, you will very soon know that the same as the universal self. If I understand the moon in my pot is only reflection, I will know that the same moon is present in all parts. Am I clear? Similarly, then once I understand this individual self, I get easily convinced that the individual self is same as the universal self. Universal self. That's the reason Baba says, you are God, you are God. God is everywhere, I am not everywhere. How can I be God? You are individual self. And he is universal self. Both being same, difference is the individual self is encased within the body with a name and a form. Individual self is encased within a body with a name and form, while the universal self is nameless and formless. That's only difference. So, Kathopanishad wants us to have a clear knowledge, a clear awareness of the individual self, so as to comprehend, so as to experience the universal self. Some people say, I know God. You have to put him a question. Do you know yourself first? Therefore, Baba says, first trust yourself, then you can trust God. Those people who have no trust in God do not trust themselves. This is a general rule. They have no trust in themselves, so they have no trust in God. So understand yourself, myself, the divine within me, the consciousness within me, then the universal consciousness is easily apprehended, easily comprehended, is easily understood, coming to the realm of experience. What does Baba say about it? Pratyagatma, the individual self, is same as Paramatma, universal self. Paramatma is universal self. Pratyagatma is the universal, is individual self. Both are same. That is the message of Kathopanishad. What does Baba say about it? Yalla bhutamulandu tanekamaguchu bhinna dehamulanduna bhinamaguchu avyayam vayivelgundu atmatattvamu araya avyayam vayivelgundu atmatattvamu araya jnanam sarthakam bhagupartha. The essence of Bhagavad Gita is also contained in this poem. What does Swami say? God divides himself into many. All of us are divided. Simple example. I bring some candy, cut into bits. This bit has the same taste as the lump. This bit has the same taste as the mass. Bits have the same quality, have the same taste, have the same color as the total. Is it not? Similarly, same God separates himself into many. Bhinna dehamulanduna bhinna maguchu yalla bhutamulandu tanekamaguchu. He being the same in all, he unifies us. He being present in everyone, he gets himself divided. He is one at the same time divided. As individuals, he is divided. As the self, as consciousness, as divinity, he is one. Now who is God? Divided or undivided? Dividedly undivided? Undividedly divided. Both. As individuals, he is divided. But as the same principle of divinity, he is undivided. You understand? Simple example. Even today in villages, people go to rivers and fetch pots of water for consumption at home. So, you go there, bring water, keep it there. Yes. That is your pot of water. That is her pot of water. That is another man's pot full of water. Yes. Your pot, his pot, her pot, good. Water is from the same river. Understood? You cannot say my river and your river. Something wrong with you there. So as a river, it is one. As pots full of water, they are different. Similarly, my friends, God as a principle, as consciousness, is one. But at the level of the individual self, he is divided. That's what Bhagavan says. Avyayam vayivelgundu atma tattvamu. Avyayam vayivelgundu atma tattvamu. That eternity, that divinity, that immortality is ever present. And to know that eternal divinity is the true knowledge. I know plants, you are a botanist, that's all. I know animals, you are a zoologist. I know machines, you are an engineer. That's all. That's not knowledge. The true knowledge is the awareness of the self. The knowledge of the self. The experience of the self. This is true knowledge. This true knowledge is called Vidya. While the other worldly knowledge is avidya, non-knowledge. You can call it spiritual, worldly. Worldly, secular knowledge, while that is spiritual, divine knowledge. Here Baba wants us to learn the spiritual, divine knowledge, which is much more than secular, worldly knowledge. Now see that. As a student of Sanatana Dharma, I have a number of collection of books with me. Naturally. Being a teacher, I should have books and pens and paper. That is my property, that's all. There is no place for any jewels or passbooks, no place, only books. So even if the fellow enters in the house, he feels so bored because he has to clear the way to get in, because books, long books everywhere. I try to understand the principle, referring books, but ended up in a total failure. Because some books, some teachers are excellent in confusing us. And some talks are of that level that we don't feel like hearing any other talk for lifetime. They are such boredom. Such a big bore. But see how Swami puts in a simple way the divine master, the divine style of lecturing. The divine style, Baba is unique as an orator. Baba is unique as a speaker. Baba is unique as a writer. That's why he attracts the whole world. People may not follow his language. They feel the heart to beat. They feel the pulse. They feel the spirit, if not the word, if not the language. But still people look at him because the whole body communicates. Baba's expression at times is wordless word. So, through silence, he can communicate. In eloquence, he is a master. In eloquence, he is a master. In silence, he is totally divine. So, what does he say here? In a simple way, he says it. Vittiga jivudavu Samistiganu chuda yisurandagu Rendu naswadamule. See that. Vyaktiga jivudavu. I'm an individual, okay? I have my own individuality, nationality. So, as an individual, God is divided. But as a community, he is being present in all. It appears as though he is divided, but he is same as I said earlier. But both are not true. Am I clear? Are not true. Why? Because he is beyond. Divided, undivided, and beyond. And beyond. You understand this? Because in the beginning of the creation, you are the only one. At the end of the creation, he will be the only one. In between, he is the one. Therefore, he is the only one, then, now, and forever. Therefore, to think he is at the individual level, wrong. To think that he is present in a community is not completely true. Because the truth is, he is the individual self, he is the universal self, and he is the transcendental self. Transcendental self. So God And the individual self can be said Jivatma, the individual self. And in a community you can say universal self, but he is the transcendental self. Am I clear? That's what Baba wants us to understand. Karanamuchina vedakina kanadadu. You may ask a question, why? Oh God, why should he be present as an individual self? Why as universal self? Why? He doesn't care to reply. You cannot pull his collar. You cannot force him. And you cannot know all by yourself. Why? My friends, all other things are given to reasoning. All other things are given to questioning. All entertain benefit of doubt. So far as God is concerned, He is beyond reasoning. He is beyond logic. Therefore, what is the reason? No reason. Reasonless. It's not unreasonable. Unreasonable is different from reasonlessness. So God is beyond reason. He is beyond rationale. He is beyond scientific investigation, exploration, experimentation. He is beyond. You cannot find the answer. You cannot give no reason. That's why he says, no reason for love, no season for love, no birth, no day. Love is my form, truth is my bread, grace is my food. So no reason for love. You cannot ask any reason. Why are you divided? Keep quiet. Why individual self, super self? You keep quiet, no reason. Because he is beyond reason. Then Baba brings us to another important point. This is very important, my friends. Because he puts it in a nutshell in the briefest form ever, in the simplest form ever, the principle of divinity. Sarva Vedanta Granthala Saramella Voka Vakyana Chepudu Voka Sari. Who can say that? Sarva Vedanta Granthala Saramella. The essence of all books. All books. Sir, there are 1,000 books in the stores. Yes. There are 10,000. Okay. Saramella Voka Vakyana Chepudu Voka Sari. I'll tell you at once, in one sentence, the essence of all books. Who can dare say that? Can you tell the essence of a simple book, single book? We may say nonsense is not the essence. But here is our God who says, I tell the essence of thousands of books. Sarva Vedanta Grandhara, all spiritual knowledge, summed up in one sentence. I can tell you at once. Spiritual secret. What does this say? Sarva Bhutamulandunna Atmanenu Okkate Animadi Talapoyaraya. Okkate Animadi Talapoyaraya. Understand that the self is in everyone. He is me only. And the only one present in everyone as the individual self. That is the essence of all religions, as Baba puts it. Now, Kathopanishad, what Baba said about Shreyas, What Baba said about prayers, we studied at length. We also have come to know the individual self, the universal self, and the transcendental self. Now we come to a beautiful analogy, a beautiful example that Kathopanishad gives us here. Same thing is there in Bhagavad Gita. Same thing you see there in the mandir. There in the mandir, what do you see? You have the Swami's chair, right? Right opposite, what do you find? A chariot, seated there Arjuna and Krishna, the horses and the reins, right? Kathopanishad tells this, kindly follow. Atmanam radhinam vidhi Sariram radhamevatu. Understand, this body is a chariot. Somebody asked me, sir, it seems there is going to be a golden chariot. I don't know. I know muscular chariot. I know the skeletal chariot. This is more than metallic chariot. So what is the chariot? The body is the chariot. Buddhim tu saradhim vidhi. Saradhim vidhi. The one, Saradhi, the charioteer, the driver. Buddhi, the intellect. Buddhi, the intellect, is the driver. Because if the intellect stands for discrimination, discretion, judgment, therefore the driver should be very sharp, should be very alert to decide where to go, where not to go, which one is safe, which is not safe. The driver should be able to understand. Therefore, driver is buddhi, the intellect. So the body is the chariot, intellect is the driver. Mana pragrahame vacha. You have to hold the chariot with the reins. The chains, the reins are held in your hand. Tak, tak, is that so? And that is the mind. The reins represent the mind. Indriyani hayanahu. The senses are the horses. Senses are the horses. Reins are the mind. The driver is the intellect. Body is the chariot. Philosophy is not a dry subject, sir. Philosophy is not vague, abstract as we think. Because we don't have patience to read, it's abstract. Oh. We say it is vague. Because we have no patience to read. We have no patience to understand. We don't apply ourselves to these principles. Why? We don't have interest. Why? We make spirituality a business. What do I get? I go to Puttaparthi, what do I get? I go to Tirupati, what do I get? I talk to you, what am I going to get? Useless fellows. Life has become a business. That's why most of us are unhappy. We calculate in terms of money. By reading Gita, what do I get? What do you get? I don't know. What do you get? By loving your children, what do you get? You'll be sent out of the house, that's all. By your own children. You get out. What do you get? Get out. I know there's no other greater joke than our own selves. Therefore, let's stop this business. Let's stop this commercial bargaining. What do I get? No. This not. When once you get, you will lose. But when once you get this, you never lose it. This is the thing that we should get. Therefore, the senses are the horses, the reins are the mind, the driver is the intellect, and then this chariot goes in different directions. What are those directions? Sensual pleasure, worldly pleasure. The chariot may take you to casino, or the chariot may take you to Holiday Inn, or chariot may take you to race club, or chariot may take anywhere. Because the roads laid are sensual pleasures. It's a beautiful comparison. Vijnana saradhiryastu mana pragrahavan narahasudhvana param apnoti tad vishnoh paramam padam. Clearly, this what Kathopanishad tells us. What do? What is happening to our chariot? Ours is a hopeless chariot. Why? Eyes take this direction. Ears take that direction. Mind elsewhere. That's why accidents. No clear cut. Let me see this, let me hear that, let me think of that. Let me move here. Our senses are not going in one direction. That's why we are senseless. So, what is to be done? The mind should have total control of the senses. Hold on the reins properly so that senses won't go like that. Something like frogs that jump out of a basket. So, hold on the chain of the mind. Meaning, mind should control the senses. But the mind is also reckless. Monkey mind. What to do? Because senses are so powerful, they will break the rein and go away. Yes. Sometimes, if you hold the reins tightly, it will run very fast. If you let it loose, you will fly. Out of fear, we hold it tightly. It runs very fast. The mind is exactly. The time you want to control, it becomes more uncontrollable. You cannot control it. That is the tragedy in the mind. Everybody's mind is like that. If anyone says, I have control on my mind, gas number one. Don't believe him. Keep him away from you. When sages and saints could not control their mind after prolonged period of penance and tapas, if this fellow says, I can control the mind, oh, something questionable with you. Therefore, my friends, even the mind also sometimes loses its grip over the senses. Because the senses are pulling, and the chain also, reins also sometimes cannot hold. Therefore, the one who holds the chain, the driver, intellect, he knows how to put it down. He knows how to take full charge. Meaning, senses should follow the mind, and mind should follow the intellect, the driver. Buddhi. Why? Mind says, God is present in the morning, and mind emphatically declares, is he present? I doubt it. In the afternoon. By night, we'll think of God tomorrow. So even mind changes its stand. There cannot be a greater politician. There cannot be a politician much worse than our own mind. Politics is not there outside, our own mind. He says yes, 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 morning. Evening, no, it's a politician does it. Our mind is a perfect politician. And we are allowing that political game to continue throughout our life. But if this mind is under the control of intellect, it will come and set right. You cannot decide like that. You cannot say one in the morning, you cannot say one in the evening. Be firm. The intellect, the owner of the car. When this driver is just doing like the right, and the owner of the car may put an accident, and you, car, and I may be lost forever. Be careful. Be careful of the traffic. That is the intellect. Am I clear? And now, that's what is clearly said. So, the intellect should take control of the mind, and the mind should take control of the senses, so that the body with the chariot can run safely along the path laid in front of us. So, my friends, the Kathopanishad clearly establishes supremacy. Read Sai literature. Swami explains very clearly. Senses first, mind above, intellect above, self topmost. This is a ladder where there are different rungs or steps. The lowermost step, senses. The next step, mind. Higher that, intellect. Above that, the Atma. That is the ladder. That is the order. Baba clearly explained this. Therefore, what should we do now? With this, let's try to conclude. Let this be now. Let us take care of this now. Mind should keep all the nature, all the vagaries, tendencies of the senses recorded. The mind should know clearly. Oh, eye wants this, ear wants this, tongue wants this, legs want to go there, the hands want to do this. The mind should watch these senses. Something like watchman. Who is going in? Who is going out? Of course, watchmen usually sleep, but I mean regular watchmen. Most of the houses, watchmen sleep in the night because it's a night watchman. So, but this mind should not be like our watchman. He should watch. Take stock of the behavior, the vagaries, the attitudes, the tendencies of all these senses. First thing. Yaschedvan manasi prajnaha. The next step. This mind should be determined. He should not be a watchman who will take some bribe, allow some other fellows to get in. All TV serials show these things. They pay some money to the watchman. The fellow will get in, finish off the fellow. Therefore, the mind should not be bribed. The mind should not be corrupt. If it is under the control of the intellect, mind will be alright. Or else it is ready to receive any bribe. You understand? So that second step. Yet the chet jnana atman. And the next step, this intellect should always keep that universal self in its view. Universal self. Because intellect is close to the self. You understand it? Window is close to the sunlight. So, sun is Atma, sunlight is intellect, window is the mind, the hall is the body. Clear? Hall is the body. So, similarly, the intellect is very close to the divinity, very close to the self, so it should always reflect it. Always should reflect it. Jnanavatmani mahatiniya chet. It should always be concentrated. That's what it says. And then that self should have this identity with the universal self. So universal self, next individual self, next intellect, next mind, least senses. Am I clear? This is what Kathopanishad clearly explains, and this is possible if only we are alert, if only we are aware of our own self and its composition. We'll continue next week. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. I hope you must have enjoyed and you must have been profited by Kathopanishad, which is very, very interesting. All Upanishads are like that, my friends. If we have no knowledge of Upanishads, well, we cannot claim ourselves to be spiritual. Life is not full of stories. No. Life is not full of experiences. Upanishads speak of the experiencer, not experiences. Experiences are many. Experiencer is one. Experiences are different, but experiencer is one, eternal. Experiences are dual. Experiencer is non-dual. Therefore, Upanishads speak of this experiencer. In learning that experiencer, we get excited, thrilled, joyful, which is worth learning, worth experiencing the experiencer. Let us experience the experiencer, because experiences are outside, most of them. But to experience the experiencer, we should turn inward, which is the essence of Upanishads. Thank you very much. Asato Sagamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satsai Baba Ji ki Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satsai Baba Ji ki Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Satsai Baba Ji ki. My friends, we have some part of Kathopanishad still left, and the next week we have some question and answer session also. I will appreciate to come here with some questions so that we'll have that also for discussion. Next week, same day, same time. Thank you.